Have you ever finished a match feeling like the game was against you? Maybe you blamed your aim, maybe your sensitivity, maybe your teammates. But here's the truth. Most players aren't losing because they can't aim. They're losing because they keep repeating the same invisible mistakes over and over again, mistakes that quietly cost them every single round. Today, we're exposing the 10 biggest mistakes holding critical ops players back, and more importantly, exactly how to fix them. If you're serious about ranking up, watch until the end. Because mistake number one is something almost every player does, without even realizing it. Welcome to Peak Theory. This isn't another gameplay channel. This is where we break down the science behind winning gunfights. Every decision, every movement, every bullet, every mistake. Whether you're a new player trying to escape lower ranks or an experienced player chasing elite ops, these lessons can completely change the way you play. Let's begin. Imagine walking into every fight, already aiming exactly where your opponent's head is going to appear. Sounds simple, yet almost nobody actually does it. The biggest mistake in critical ops isn't bad aim, it's bad crosshair placement. Watch almost any beginner. Their crosshair points at the floor, the walls, the ceiling, everywhere except where an enemy can actually appear. Every time your crosshair starts too low, you force yourself to react after seeing the enemy. That tiny movement may only take a fraction of a second, but in critical ops, fractions of a second decide fights. Professional players don't rely on faster reactions. They remove the need to react in the first place. Their crosshair is already waiting. As they move around the map, they constantly imagine where an enemy's head would appear. Every corner, every doorway, every angle. Their crosshair never stops predicting. Think about it this way. Every unnecessary mouse movement or finger movement is wasted time. The less you move your crosshair, the faster you shoot. This one habit alone can completely transform your consistency. Here's a challenge. Play your next 5 matches without focusing on kills. Instead, focus only on keeping your crosshair at head level, every second you're alive. At first, it will feel strange, but after a few games, it becomes automatic. And once it becomes automatic, you'll start winning fights before your opponents even have time to react. Unfortunately, even players with perfect crosshair placement instantly throw away their advantage because of mistake number 2. And chances are you're doing it after almost every single kill. You win the gunfight. Your confidence goes up. You press one button, and suddenly, you're dead. It sounds ridiculous, but one of the deadliest habits in critical ops happens after you win a fight. Automatic reloading. Most players don't even think about it. They get a kill and instantly reload. Every single time. It feels safe. It feels natural. But it's actually one of the easiest ways to throw away a round. Why it's wrong. Think about what just happened. You fired maybe 6 bullets, maybe 10. Your magazine still has more than enough ammunition. But instead of checking your surroundings, you completely disable your weapon for several seconds. And that's exactly when the second enemy appears. Demonstration. Watch this situation. One enemy pushes. You eliminate him. Instead of clearing the next angle, you reload. While your weapon is unavailable, another player swings the corner. There's nothing you can do. The fight is over before it even starts. What good players do. Professional players don't reload automatically. They ask themselves one question. Am I safe? If the answer is no, the reload waits. They reposition. Listen. Clear nearby angles. Check the minimap. Only then, if the area is secure, do they reload. Sometimes, the best reload is the one you don't do. Bonus tip. Remember, every weapon has enough bullets to eliminate multiple opponents. Trust your magazine, not your habit. Practice challenge. Here's today's challenge. Play 3 matches without reloading after every kill. Force yourself to reload, only after checking your surroundings first. At first, it'll feel uncomfortable, almost wrong. That's because you're breaking muscle memory. But after a few games, you'll notice something surprising. You'll survive far more multi-enemy situations. Reloading isn't the only habit that gets players eliminated. The next mistake actually happens before the fight even begins. And it's the reason so many players lose duels before firing their first bullet. Wide swinging every corner. Opening. Imagine walking into a room with absolutely no idea what's waiting on the other side. That's exactly what happens every time you wide swing without information. Instead of exposing a small part of your body, you expose everything. Your head, your chest, your entire hitbox. And if someone's already holding that angle, you've just made their job incredibly easy. Explanation. Good positioning wins fights before aim even matters. Every corner should be treated like an enemy is already waiting, because eventually one will be. Professional players don't rush every angle. They clear space, one piece at a time. They gather information before committing. Every peek has a purpose. Wide swinging every corner. Practical demonstration. Let's compare two players. Same weapon, same angle, same reaction speed, but completely different results. Player number 1 sprints around the corner, exposing his entire body at once. The defender sees him instantly. One shot, round over. Now watch player number 2. Instead of rushing, he slices the angle. One small step at a time. Every movement reveals only a tiny piece of the room. Suddenly, the defender is forced to react first. And that tiny difference changes everything. Why this works? Every angle is information. The less information you give your opponent, the more control you keep. Think of every doorway as a question. Don't answer it with your entire body. Answer it with your crosshair first. Practice challenge. Here's a simple drill. Load into an empty map. Walk through every doorway as slowly as possible. Keep your crosshair exactly where an enemy head could appear. Don't worry about speed. Focus on consistency. Once this becomes automatic, you'll stop giving away free kills. But even perfect positioning won't save you if you ignore the most powerful source of information in the entire game. Gnawing footsteps. Opening. Close your eyes for a second. Imagine hearing footsteps somewhere behind that wall. Without seeing anyone, you already know exactly where they're coming from. That's information. Free information. And yet, thousands of players completely ignore it. Explanation. Critical ops isn't just about aiming, it's about listening. Every footstep, every reload, every jump, every weapon swap tells a story. Good players don't just react to what they see, they react to what they hear. Demonstration. Watch this situation. Player A hears footsteps but keeps staring at the wrong angle. 3 seconds later, the enemy appears exactly where the sound predicted. Too late. Now watch player B. Same situation, same footsteps, but this time he immediately adjusts his position. He pre-aims the correct doorway. The enemy walks directly into his crosshair. The fight is over before the enemy even understands what happened. Common mistake. Here's another problem. Many players play with music, or low volume, or cheap headphones that hide directional sound. You're removing one of the strongest advantages the game gives you. Pro tip. If you want to improve, lower the music. Increase your effects volume. Spend one day focusing only on identifying footsteps. You'll be surprised how many fights you win without ever seeing your opponent first. But there's another mistake that's even more dangerous, because this one makes your aim look terrible, even when your crosshair is perfect. Standing still while spraying. Opening. Imagine becoming the easiest target on the entire map. That's exactly what happens every time you stop moving during a gunfight. Standing still while spraying. Opening. The moment the shooting starts, most players freeze. Not because they're scared, because they're focused on controlling recoil. But while you're standing still, you're giving your opponent the easiest target imaginable. Explanation. Think about it. Your opponent now knows exactly where you'll be for the next second. No tracking required, no prediction, just point and shoot. Movement is part of your aim. The best players never become statues. They constantly make themselves harder to hit. Demonstration. Watch these two players. Player 1 plants his feet and commits to the spray. Easy target. Now watch player 2. Small strafes, controlled bursts, constant adjustments, same weapon, same duel, completely different outcome. Pro tip. You don't need to move wildly. Tiny movements are enough to throw off your opponent's aim. Controlled movement creates missed bullets, but surviving a gunfight means nothing if you're carrying the wrong weapon in the first place, buying the wrong weapon. Opening. Not every weapon is designed for every situation, yet many players buy the exact same gun every single round. Explanation. Economy isn't just about money. It's about making the smartest decision for the round you're playing. Are you defending? Long sightlines? Are you attacking? Tight corridors? Are you saving? Every answer changes the best weapon choice. Demonstration. Imagine buying a close-range SMG and then taking a long-distance duel. You've already lost before firing. The weapon wasn't the problem. The decision was. Pro tip. Learn what every weapon does best. Stop asking, what's the strongest gun? Start asking, what's the right gun for this round? But even the perfect weapon can't save you if you ignore one of the strongest tools in critical ops. Never using utility. Opening. Here's a question. Why challenge an enemy who already has the better position? You don't have to. Explanation. Grenades aren't decorations. Smokes aren't optional. Flashbangs aren't emergencies. They're tools that let you control the fight before it begins. Demonstration. Player 1 runs directly into a sniper angle. Instant elimination. Player 2 throws a smoke, blocks vision, forces the defender to reposition. Suddenly, the advantage changes sides. Another example. One flashbang, less than 2 seconds. That's all it takes to completely blind an opponent. Yet many players finish an entire match without using a single utility item. Pro tip. Every round, ask yourself, can a grenade solve this problem before I try to solve it with aim? Sometimes the smartest play doesn't require a perfect headshot. It requires a better decision. So far, we've talked about mechanics, but the next mistake has nothing to do with aim. In fact, it's the reason so many players get caught completely off guard, even when they're winning. Ignoring the minimap. Opening. Imagine having a free radar showing you exactly where the action is happening. Now imagine never looking at it. That's exactly what most players do. Explanation. The minimap isn't just decoration. Every teammate, every gunfight, every spotted enemy, every objective tells you something. Information wins rounds, and the minimap is your biggest source of information. Demonstration. Watch this example. A teammate gets eliminated On the other side of the map, player 1 never notices. 10 seconds later, he gets flanked, completely surprised. Now watch player 2. He checks the minimap, sees the gap, rotates immediately, and turns a dangerous situation into an easy kill. Pro tip: make it a habit. Every few seconds, glance at your minimap. Just one quick look. It could save the entire round. But even with perfect information, there's one mistake that destroys more matches than almost anything else. Taking every fight. Opening. Here's something every great player understands. You don't have to win every fight. You only have to win the right ones. Explanation. Many players see an enemy and immediately challenge. No cover, no advantage, no plan, just confidence. Confidence doesn't beat better positioning. Demonstration. Watch this duel. Player 1 re-peeks the exact same angle after taking damage. The defender already knows exactly where he'll appear. Easy elimination. Now player 2. Same situation. Instead of forcing the duel, he rotates, finds a new angle, catches the opponent completely off guard. Pro tip: remember this. Every fight is optional. If the odds aren't in your favor, create better odds. And now, the biggest mistake on this entire list. Blaming your sensitivity instead of your mechanics. Opening. This is the mistake that keeps players stuck for months, sometimes years. They lose a match. They change their sensitivity. Lose again. Change it again. Over and over and over. Explanation. Here's the truth. Your sensitivity isn't making you lose. Your habits are. Think about everything we've covered today. Crosshair placement, positioning, sound, utility, decision-making. Those skills decide far more fights than tiny sensitivity changes. Demonstration. Give the same settings to a professional player and a beginner. The professional still dominates because mechanics aren't built inside the settings menu. They're built through repetition, through discipline, through smart practice. Final challenge. So here's your challenge. Don't change your sensitivity for the next 7 days. Instead, focus only on fixing the 10 mistakes you learned today. I promise you'll improve far more than chasing the perfect settings. Becoming better at critical ops isn't about finding secrets. It's about removing mistakes, one by one. Because every bad habit you eliminate makes every good habit even stronger. This is only the beginning. Here at Peak Theory, we'll break down the mechanics, strategies, and decisions that separate average players from elite players. If you learnt something new today, let me know. Which mistake surprised you the most? And if there's another topic you want us to analyze, leave it in the comments. Subscribe and start mastering every gunfight.